we've got a hello song to sing all of you. And in this song, we're going to kind of break the ice a little bit. So get ready for a bunch of high fives and handshakes, okay? Here we go.
Hello, friends. How are you? I'm very happy to see you. Greet and we'll be on down. Give a jump and turn around. Hello, friends. How are you? I'm very happy to see you. Greeting audience. And boogie on down. Give a jump and turn around.
Sit down. All right. You all caught on. I've got an applause sign to help. But yeah, thank you. Good singing, kids. Good singing. Well, pretty much every week we talk about what I call the pillars of music. All right, so we've got 4 pillars of music, and it's my belief that if the kids understand what these 4 pillars of music are, okay, then they'll pretty much understand how music works. Okay, so those are the steady beat, rhythm, melody, and harmony. And during today's Informance, we'll be looking at each one and doing some activities for each one. Starting with the steady beat. Now guys, I'd like you all to please define for your parents what is the steady beat.
The steady beat is a pulse that stays the same speed.
It's a pulse that stays the same speed. Great job. And to show you all that we know how to keep a steady beat, we're going to be doing student-led beat motions. This is where the kids get to decide how they're going to move. The only requirement is that it must be on the beat. So kids, let's go to a circle formation. Okay, we're going to have some student leaders here. Everybody's going to get a turn. There's some extra room over here. Let's have a few of you guys go over here. Okay, good. Let's have, how about, you don't want to go there. Okay, I'll go here. I'll go here. If you can't see your kid, then feel free to move around, parents. Okay, can you start us? Is that cool? Well, I'll start, but then you can go after me. Okay. All right, is everybody ready? This is student-led beat motions. Here we go. Just a second. Here we go. Here we go. There. Now, you might not know that almost every piece of music you've ever heard has a beat, and it's usually steady. You don't always hear it, but you can feel it. Okay? The trick is to not let your beat speed up or slow down, but to stay the same speed. We're going to do that in all different ways. Are you ready?
We were just kids, just living in a
Nice job. That can be pretty tricky to stay on a steady beat, but you guys did just great. All right, let's move on to our next pillar of music. The rhythm. All right, you guys remember your definition?
Yeah.
Let's do it. The
Rhythm is the long and short notes and rests that fit inside the beat.
Great. So earlier we had the beat. Now rhythms fit inside of beats. And to show you this, we've got two activities. We've got rhythm identification and rhythm cards. First, we have to know what the rhythm is we're looking at. So kids, as soon as you know the answer, just call it out. Okay? What's that rhythm? Quarter note. Good. Okay, how about this guy here?
Quarter rest.
Quarter rest?
Half note. Broken up.
Not a half note.
Broken up eighth note.
Yes, that is what 1/8 note looks like all by itself. Different from this, which is what?
Half note. Oh, eighth note.
Yeah, how many 8th notes do we have here? 2 8th notes. Okay, good. What's this guy?
Half note.
A half note. And this one?
Half rest.
Half rest. Good. Now we're going to use each of these rhythms, and the kids know how many beats they fill in an activity called rhythm cards. Okay? So you're going to get to see your kids now reading music. Okay, kids, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Afrobeat. And 1, 2, ready, go. Whoops. Try that again. And 1, 2, ready, and go. Great job, guys. Well done. Well done. And next year we'll learn more rhythms and do higher levels of rhythm cards. So, fantastic job. All right, let's move on to our next pillar of music. The melody. Okay? And let's define it together. The melody
is the high and low pitches that fit inside the beat.
Okay, so if we have a steady beat and rhythms fit inside of beats, rhythms which are long and short, what melody does is it adds the component of being either high or low. Now the way we can do this is by singing. So let's all stand up. We'll be doing 3 different activities with melody. We'll do a singing technique warm-up. We'll sing the Do-Re-Mi song from The Sound of Music to work on our solfege. And then we'll do melody cards. All right, starting with our singing technique warm-up. Now let's show the parents what bad technique would look like. All right, well that's not gonna work. So now let's try and fix it. 2, ready, go.
Stand tall, back straight, feet flat, back straight, face front, concentrate. Stand tall, back straight, feet flat, back straight, face front, concentrate. Stand tall, back straight, feet flat, back straight, face front, concentrate. Stand tall, back straight, feet flat, back straight, face front, concentrate.
Last time.
Stand tall, back straight, feet flat, back straight, face front, concentrate.
All right, good job, kids. Let's sing Do-Re-Mi. And 1, 2, ready, go.
Do, a deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Fa, a long, long way to run. So, a needle pulling thread. La, a little goes home. E, a human turning thread. That will bring us back to do, oh, 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 do. A deer,
so proud of you guys. Okay, sit down. All right. Now, you need to know your solfege for lots of singing. Also, believe it or not, sometimes when you just read music, even if you're playing an instrument, you want to know what your solfege is. Okay? And we've already begun practicing that. This will be something they do regularly if they're in choir in middle school. But I figure second grade is early enough to get started. So, with our melody cards, we'll be using the body signs you just saw. Now, some of you guys in the audience may have heard of before, they're called Kodai hand signs, which look like this. Perhaps, I don't know, on TV or maybe before or in your own choir classes when you were a kid. We start with body signs and transition to hand signs because body signs really show the difference between low pitches and high pitches. And because melody is the high and low pitches that fit inside of beats, this is really important. Okay, we'll do 3 different levels of melody cards. In level 1, we'll only be using me and so. Kids, with your turn and talk partners, I want you to remind each other where me and so. Okay, now take a look up here. I'll give you a real quick introduction to music theory for anybody who might not be musical and be curious about how this stuff works. Basically what we've got here is a measure of music. Measures are divided by these things called bar lines. And there's 5 horizontal lines going across a page of music. That's called a music staff. What a music staff does is it tells you if pitches are high or low. Now there's a few other symbols here I want to show the parents. We've got this here, which is a treble clef, telling us to use our high singing voices. So in a moment you'll even hear a recording of me singing, and I'll be using my high singing voice, just like the kids. Even though I have an adult voice now, I use a kid voice. And then we have this 4/4 time signature. This means that there's 4 beats, here represented by hearts, inside of every measure. Now, every time we do anything with solfege, we have to ask ourselves a very important question, which is,
Where is Do?
I'm glad you asked. Do's right here. Now, why is it there? Well, because I just decided to put it there. It's called movable do. The music teacher can put do wherever he wants. I've decided to put it there. Okay? And that goes on an invisible line across the bottom of the staff. So if you know where do is, you can figure out what every other solfege syllable would be. Okay? So kids, I think with this much information, you can figure out this first melody card. So look at it. Okay, you guys ready? All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go.
So me.
Good job. Change it just a little bit. 1, 2, ready, go.
So me. So me.
Good job, guys. 1, 2, ready, go.
Me. So.
Good, and this one here. All right, guys, great job on level 1. Now for level 2, we're just going to add la. So go ahead and turn and talk to your partner and decide where is the la. Okay. Eyes back up front. Here's your card. Look at it. Read it. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job, guys. And this one here. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Now just flip. Oh, let's double them up. 1, 2, ready, job on level 2. Okay, let's move on now to level 3. Level 3, we have do, re, and mi. So everyone stand up. Share with your partner where do, re, and mi are. Okay, all right. Back up front. This is a tricky one. Here we go. Good job, guys. Okay, and this one here. Okay, last card. Here it is. Well done. So we're reading rhythms, we're reading melodies, and in a year or two we'll start reading letter names too. So we know about where like A's and B's and C's are on your instruments. Okay, let's talk about our final pillar of music, the harmony. Now guys, this one's pretty new. So I'm gonna have the kids echo me. I'll have the definition on the board here. Okay? So kids, echo me. When two or more pitches are played or sung at the same time. So we're basically taking our concept of melody and putting more on top of it, more notes at the same time. Now we're going to do a little bit of a set change here. In a moment, I'm going to have the kids move over to these instruments. So parents, kids, if you're over here, if I can have you guys move this direction, and then once they've made room, our second graders will find a mallet instrument. And second graders, before you go, let's make sure we have people in every row. Okay? Make sure we have people in every row. All right. You guys can walk. Now, kids, some of you will notice that your instruments from the first grade Informance, right before you guys all came, they had to take off some notes. So can you put those notes back on? If your instrument is missing notes, will you put your notes back on?
There's a reason I didn't do this for a living. Well, I'm like the official video editor.
Does anybody need help?
Seems like the story is almost complete. How do I raise? Good luck, yeah.
It's so cool to see them do this.
Oh, this must be. Okay, everybody good on their instruments? Great. I need one more person to come onto this row here. Can I have like one volunteer? Oh, you're so, thank you so much. Back one more row. One more row. How about that right there? Okay. So we're about to play harmony, and the way we're doing this is that on each instrument stand, the kids will find two notes. These are going to be new notes for them. So everybody look at your papers on your stands and find your note next to number 1 and number 2. Now we won't take those notes off. Instead, we're going to be rolling on each of the notes. And because all those notes are different, it'll create harmony. Okay? So everybody find your first note. Now find your second note. And make it sound even cooler, we're going to stagger our start. So we'll have the first row roll on their note first, not yet, but you'll do it first. We'll add the next row.
Did you say it?
Not yet.
I don't remember my note.
It's right there.
Oh.
Or it's, yeah. Yep. So then you guys will go next, and then we'll add the next row we'll add the last row. So they're all playing their first note at the same time, creating harmony. And when I say switch, what are you guys going to do? Yeah, you're going to switch to your next note. Should we give it a try?
Yes.
We should probably do it 2 times, all right? Let's start first time, front row, first note. Ready, play. Yeah. All right, parents, we had a little bit of trouble with our camera, so we're doing this last song from the Informance one more time. This is Bedtime at the Swamp with the kids improvising their very own music. You got it. Sitting by a swamp, just humming a tune, with the fireflies dancing beneath the fat gold moon. When off in the distance was a splashing sound, so I stood on my tiptoes and I looked around. I heard well, my hands were a-shaking and my heartbeat raced as I leaped through the marshes and a monster chased. When it followed behind me in the sludgy slime, it was rocking and swaying the entire time. It went. So I hid in the branches of a willow tree, and I saw my kid sister staring up at me. She said, "Ma said to fetch you 'cause it's time for bed." "But sis, there's a monster in the swamp," I said. We heard. We heard. Then out crept a shadow from the swampy place. We were scared till we saw our older brother's face. He said, "Ma said to fetch you 'cause it's time for bed." "Quick hide, there's a monster in the swamp," we said. We heard. We heard. Well, we looked for the monster, wondering where he went, till we spied our 2 cousins that our ma had sent, saying we came to fetch you 'cause it's time for bed. "Watch out, there's a monster in the swamp," we said. We heard. We heard. So we all sat and shivered neath the fat gold moon. And the crickets were chirping, and the catfish were slurping, and the frogs were croaking, and our feet were soaking, and our tree was a-stooping, and the highlands were trooping. And we clung to each other full of dread and fear. I said, "Hey, do you think we'll spend the night up here?" We heard. We heard. And out sprang the monster that had made us scared, with its big feet stomping and its sharp teeth bare. I yelled, "Help! It's the creature from the Black Lagoon!" But just when we thought we faced certain doom, we heard. Then out of the darkness stomped my dear old ma. She burst through the cattails and she cried, "Aha! I've been trying to get you children home to bed, and I find you a-hiding in this tree instead." And we went crunch, well, Ma looked us over saying no one's hurt, but I don't think I've ever seen so much dirt. Now all of you go and get washed up for bed, and that goes for your new playmate too, she said. He went
Push, push,